All right, so you're prepping for an arborist interview.
Nice.
We're going to dive deep into some resources from RoleCatcher today.
Awesome.
They've got some really cool stuff like
Yeah.
career guides,
Mm-hmm.
interview prep, and even AI to fine-tune your answers.
Wow.
It's like having a secret weapon.
It really is amazing how technology is changing the job search, giving people an extra edge.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. The career guide really goes into detail about what an arborist actually does every day.
Yeah.
More than just tree hugging.
Oh, way more. I mean,
Yeah.
think tree doctor, safety inspector, even project manager sometimes. They work everywhere.
Yeah.
Streets, parks, private properties. It's a pretty hands-on, outdoorsy gig.
Yeah, the guide talks about the pros and cons too. Being out in nature, lots of variety, but also
Right.
physical demands and potential hazards. It's good to know what you're getting into.
Absolutely. And it's something they might ask you about in the interview. They want to know that you've thought about that side of it.
Totally. Okay, so let's dive into the interview prep. This is where RoleCatcher really shines.
Yeah.
They break down those common questions, and they give you strategies to nail the answers.
It's all about that insider knowledge.
Right. All right, first question. What motivated you to become an arborist? It seems simple, but I bet there's a right way and a wrong way to answer it.
Yeah, you're right. It's not as straightforward as it sounds.
Yeah.
They don't just want a list of your qualifications. They want to hear your story. What, sparked your passion for trees? Was it a childhood memory, a mentor, maybe a growing concern for the environment?
Yeah, it's all about the WHY. What kind of follow-up questions would they ask to kind of dig deeper?
Oh, they might ask about challenges you've faced, lessons you've learned, or even specific experiences. That solidified your love for this field.
So have a few stories ready.
Exactly.
Okay, next question. Can you describe a difficult tree removal project you have worked on? This feels like a chance to show off your problem-solving skills.
Totally. Choose a project that was complex, maybe had some obstacles, walk them through your process. Okay.
How did you assess the situation? What steps did you take? What was the outcome?
And the guide mentions having a portfolio. Is that something interviewers really look at?
Absolutely. A visual portfolio can really help you stand out. Shows you're serious about your work,
Yeah.
gives them concrete examples of what you can do.
What kind of things should people include?
Photos of projects, before and after shots to show the impact, detailed descriptions of your process, even certifications and awards, anything that presents you in the best possible light.
So it's like a visual representation of your passion.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to let your personality come through too.
I like that. Okay, next question. How do you stay current with industry trends? This one feels like more than just reading a magazine.
That's good. You're right. They want to see that you're dedicated to continuous learning and staying ahead of the curve.
Mm-hmm.
Mention some specific journals, like Arborist News or the Arboricultural Journal, or professional organizations like the ISA.
What about online resources?
Oh, tons of great blogs, online forums, webinars, online courses.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like a whole world of tree knowledge.
It is.
And RoleCatcher talks about how technology is becoming a bigger and bigger part of tree care. So staying up to date on those trends is key.
Absolutely. Being tech savvy is a huge plus.
Speaking of RoleCatcher, I wanted to touch on their AI feature. It sounds super helpful. Could you explain how it works?
Imagine an AI coach. It analyzes the job description and helps you craft answers that hit all the right points.
Okay.
It can even give you feedback on your delivery and help you identify areas for improvement.
So it's like having a personalized coach.
It really is. It takes out all the guesswork and helps you present your best self.
That's incredible. Okay, let's move on to another question that RoleCatcher highlights. How do you approach tree risk assessment and mitigation?
I feel like this gets to the heart of an arborist's expertise.
It does. This question is all about your knowledge of safety liability and your ability to make decisions when it comes to tree care.
So what are they really looking for? What kind of details would impress an interviewer? They want to see that you understand how to identify hazards, things like decay,
Right.
structural defects, or environmental factors, then how you analyze the risk that those hazards pose.
It's like being a tree detective.
Exactly. And then, based on that assessment, what mitigation strategies would you recommend? Things like cabling, bracing, pruning, or even removal if a tree poses too much of a risk.
Yeah, mentioning specific standards you follow would probably be smart too.
Definitely. Referencing the ISA's tree risk assessment qualification shows you're up to date on best practices.
Okay, here's one that feels relevant to urban areas. How do you prioritize tree preservation in urban environments? It's like a balancing act.
It is. Urban trees face so many challenges, limited space pollution, construction damage. This question is about showing you understand those challenges and that you can find solutions to protect trees in these tough environments.
What are some key points to hit in your answer?
Talk about assessing soil conditions,
Yeah.
advocating for root protection during construction, maybe even engaging the community in tree care.
Well, I like that, involving the community.
It shows you're thinking about the bigger picture, that urban forestry is about more than just planting and pruning.
It's about the whole environment.
Right.
All right, let's shift gears to collaboration. Can you describe a project where you worked collaboratively with other professionals, like landscape architects or engineers?
Teamwork.
Teamwork is key, especially on bigger projects. Choose an example that shows your ability to communicate, to listen to other professionals, and to find solutions that benefit everyone.
Yeah, and conflict resolution is a big one. I mean, there are always disagreements.
Or for sure. Be prepared to share an example of how you handled conflict, kept the lines of communication open, and reached a positive outcome.
It's all about working together.
Exactly.
Okay. Safety. How do you approach safety in your work? I mean, this feels non-negotiable in a profession that can be so dangerous.
You're right, safety is number one. This isn't just about saying you're careful. It's about demonstrating that you understand safety protocols and that you're committed to training.
Yeah.
What are some examples you could give to show you take it seriously?
Talk about assessing risks before every job, your knowledge of equipment use and maintenance, maybe even mention new safety technologies you've used.
Right, and mentioning any safety awards or recognitions wouldn't hurt either.
Anything that shows a proven track record of safety. It shows employers that you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk.
Okay, last question from RoleCatcher's Guide. How do you approach customer service in your role as an arborist? Seems like a bit of a curveball, but it's important.
It is. Customer service is often overlooked, but it's so important.
Yeah.
It builds trust and helps you build a positive reputation.
Absolutely. So what are some key points to hit when answering this?
Emphasize your communication skills, being able to explain things clearly to clients, make them feel heard, understood, and confident in your recommendations.
That's so important, especially when you're talking about removing a beloved tree.
It is. Honesty and transparency are key.
Okay, we've covered a lot on interview questions, but before we wrap up, I want to go back to RoleCatcher's AI feature. We talked about it before, but I want to dive a little deeper into how it can help tailor your answers for specific jobs.
It analyzes the job description, identifies keywords and key skills, and then helps you craft responses that address those requirements.
So it's not about giving you canned responses, it's about helping you highlight your experience.
Exactly. It helps you present yourself as the perfect fit.
And it can even give you feedback on your delivery, like identifying filler words or areas where you could be more concise.
It's like a personal coach, helping you refine your presentation skills.
Amazing. I love that. Passion is so important. Okay, let's talk about the arborist career ladder. RoleCatcher's Guide shows the typical stages, from entry-level to senior positions. It's helpful to see how those responsibilities change over time.
Yeah, it's interesting how the focus shifts, from hands-on tasks to more leadership and problem-solving.
And they include examples of real people, which makes it feel more achievable.
It's inspiring to see how they've built their careers.
Speaking of building careers, let's look at some interview questions for those higher-level jobs. RoleCatcher has a whole section on this.
Okay, let's do it.
Here's one. Describe a time when you had to make a difficult decision regarding tree care. That involved balancing competing interests, such as safety preservation and budget. This feels like a real-world scenario for senior arborists.
It is. This question is all about your judgment and problem-solving. They want to see that you can think critically and make responsible decisions.
So what kind of example would you share?
Choose a situation where you had a tough choice, maybe a tree that was damaged but important to the client, or a project with a limited budget. Walk them through how you made the decision.
And talk about what you learned from it.
Exactly. Show that you're always growing.
Okay, here's one about leadership. How would you motivate and lead a team of arborists to achieve a challenging goal? This is about showing you can lead.
Right. They want to see that you can inspire a team, especially when things are tough.
What makes a strong leader in this field?
Clear communication is key. Being able to delegate and give feedback.
And building a positive team environment.
Absolutely. Trust and respect are so important.
And how about handling conflict?
Be ready to share an example of how you resolved a conflict and helped everyone move forward.
It's about finding solutions.
Yes.
Okay, last question. How do you envision the future of arboriculture? And what role do you see yourself playing in it? Big picture thinking.
I love this question. It lets you show your passion and your vision.
What are some key themes to talk about?
The importance of urban forestry, the role of technology.
And climate change.
Definitely. Arborists are so important for the environment.
This has been a great deep dive. We've learned so much about being an arborist.
It's been fun.
Don't forget about RoleCatcher's resources. They can really help you prepare for your interview.
I agree.
So to all the aspiring arborists out there, be passionate, be prepared, and never sing learning.
And happy tree climbing.